Hello, my name is Kianna, and this is my presentation of learning, also known as my PoL. And I'm the superhero, Kianna, and as you can see, this is one of the villains. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about me, and I attend Superhero High because I'm a superhero and I can't go to any regular school because I need to learn how to use my own powers, which is like MPX. So every day we come to school, we go to the arena and you're challenged with one or more villains, and as soon as you're done defeating them, you can go home. So sometimes it has its perks because you can defeat it or it'll take like the whole day. So my artifacts is going to be about Challenge Week, and Challenge Week was our hardest. They gave us the hardest villains to face, and I'm going to tell you about them. Okay, so Monday. When I stepped into the arena, I have been challenged with the app villains. They made me really confused, and they didn't want me to make cool infographics, iMovies, news reports, or cool pictures. So I realized that the power I can use for this one is to just stay calm, and I use my brain power to look for instructions, and the more you practice, the more perfect it will be. Tuesday, I was faced with the mind erasing villain. So he made me forgetful because on field trips, when we go on a field trip, we like to reflect on things. So when I came back to the school, I couldn't remember what we did, but I used my power of note-taking, and I would take notes. So when I couldn't remember anything, I looked back on my notes and I could write a creative reflection. But before I could kill Mr. Forgetful, he ran away. Wednesday, I was faced with the tornado villain. He came through and made everything disorganized. I couldn't find any of my papers, pictures, videos, notes, and this put me into a very bad state because I couldn't do any of my work. So the power that I used was my organizing powers. So I blew those away, and I put all my apps into an MPX folder that helps me find all my MPX applications so I can just open up right into it. I put my pages, documents into folders as well. This is just some examples of like how I became organized, and what I learned is that if I have a clear space, I have a clear mind, and that equals good work. Alright, so on Thursday, I flew in to KCC ready to cook, and I suddenly became scared of fire because I didn't want to burn my hands. So when he came up, I didn't know what to do. So the brain power that I used was to listen and pay attention to the chefs, and I put a towel on top of the handle, and my hand is no longer going to be burned. So if you listen and learn, then you can create delicious chicken. Okay, so my favorite part of this week was that they surprised us with Fun Day Friday. So we got to use our most improved power, which is my favorite power, and this one was being creative. So throughout this whole week, I learned how to master apps, use my mind and everything that would help me in the future. So I got to create infographics, keynotes, iMovies, and for keynotes we can create PoLs like this. We can also create news reports, as you can see over here. And for Mr. Kaneko's class, we made infographics. These were really fun to make because you can just be really creative with them. And I really like infographics because you can learn in a more interesting way. Yeah. So for my reflection, I learned that in conclusion of this week, I've gained so many new powers, but I'm so happy to be in SHH, which is Superhero High, because they give me such a different outlook on school and I get to learn different things. I also have learned how to work with a big amount of people and cooperate instead of just working on a project alone. And here in MPX we can, instead of taking tests, we take oral tests, which is a lot easier too. Thank you.
Kianna, what was your biggest villain? Because you talked about your most favorite power, but what was your biggest villain this year?
My biggest villain this year was the tornado villain. I was not very organized, but also that's a good question. Mr. Forgetful was a big villain too. Yeah, because I couldn't really remember a lot of things too. Also for due dates and stuff.
But moving forward, do you feel confident in battling these villains from the start next year?
Yeah, I learned a lot of things from these villains as well.
Okay, good. Any other questions?
I have a question. Did you find that overcoming one villain sort of helped you prepare to overcoming another? Like you mentioned the tornado being disorganized and then being forgetful, but I'm sure once you had all of your acts in place that you showed us, it was probably easier to remember things.
Also, when you defeat a villain, you kind of feel good about yourself. So when you're taking on another one, you know that you can just power through it and you can make it through.
Awesome.
Okay, thank you very much, Kianna.
Thank you.